Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to give you guys a countdown. Some people say they don't see me for a fat minute. So here we go. Let's do a little countdown here. Wow, I don't have a 15-second. I only got 30 seconds, huh? 10 seconds. There we go. Let's try that. Let's try that. Give you guys some time to get in here. If it would work. There you go. All right. You already saw me, but that's all good. Welcome back to the channel, baby. We have got an update / something that we have not discussed. I have seen this all over social media, and I'm not even on social media right now. So I have seen this on YouTube. I have seen this now blowing up. Now, I remember that Kelsey was the one that put me on to this story. I actually have listened to David's music. So what we're going to be doing today is talking about a case that's very interesting, in the sense that we don't know exactly what's happening right now. There is a lot of speculation. So we need to start there, and we need to be very fair to the fact that we don't know exactly what's happening, but the situation does not look good. So I'm going to go ahead and read you some things, and I'm going to pull up some different articles that I have been looking at. It seems that we are in a place where we cannot make a definitive answer, but it looks really, really, really bad. And we're going to jump into why it looks so bad from another perspective. So, starting out on September 8th, they found a decomposing body in the front trunk of the impounded Tesla registered to a famous singer. His name is David. Now, David has some pretty viral music. So let me pull up a picture of David. I don't know if you guys would know, but there's a couple of really, really popular songs that he is known for. He blew up on TikTok. He made a bunch of songs that were basically Fortnite famous. If you don't know what Fortnite is, it is the game that all the kids play, man. I sound like an old man here at 29 years old. But Fortnite is a very, very popular video game. And he basically became famous for music on there. So this is David. Basically what happened was he got copyrighted. I don't know if you guys know this part of the story. He got copyrighted for having copyrighted music on his streams. And he was a really popular Fortnite player, okay? Now, when he got copyrighted, I think they took a bunch of his videos down. And so obviously, if you were a streamer and your entire channel got marked down because of copyright music, you'd be like, what do I do? So I guess either he had a suggestion or someone had a suggestion that he should make his own music. And basically what David did is David got his phone out and made a song for himself that wouldn't be copyrighted. It's his music. He made it on his phone, and obviously this guy is talented. So he made the song and he blew up. This song blew up, and okay, his mom suggested it. Yes. So he blows up on TikTok, goes crazy. He gets a bunch of subs, realizes that he can actually make music. Now it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks in the beginning. This stuff is not like his voice when this first went viral, but you need to understand the power of the internet when it comes to stuff like this, like TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Those viral moments go crazy. So many people know, especially when it's around something like, Fortnite, which a lot of people know about Fortnite. Even if you don't play it, I'm pretty sure you've at least heard of Fortnite. So, anyway, so David basically gets known as a musician. Now, I've had a song on my phone that I'm not going to lie to you. Since this came out, I made a decision to not listen to that song anymore. I knew it by heart, and it was called, let me pull it up for you guys. I'm not going to play it for you. But the lyrics are very interesting. So there's a couple of songs that have some red flags here, and we need to get into why I am not a conspiracy theorist, but we're going to have some conversations about what's going on here. So you guys know the context from the beginning. It's called Feel It, okay? Feel It was a song that I heard somewhere, I'm sure on social media or something of that nature, where I was like, that's a good song. So I downloaded it. And so I've had that song in rotation where it randomly pops up, in your Spotify. And so when I heard Kelsey say Colby, they found this girl in David, this guy's car. I flipped out because I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this artist. So I immediately was piqued into what is going on here. Well, the more that I got into it, the more confusing things became. So, first, let me go ahead and start by saying this. The number one reason why we are here is because a young woman, very young, by the way, there is reports of 13 to 15. Now, everything I've seen has been very clear that she is about 15 years old. Okay. There's 14, there's 13. I've seen a lot of different reports. One of the most interesting parts of this is how they were able to identify her specifically. So, Celeste goes missing. This is supposedly David's girlfriend. Okay. So, Celeste 15, 14, 13. That's a lot of the different things. Has been missing since April, and they could not find her. Yes. So this is the thing. She goes missing. Her parents don't know where she is. And now we find out that she was here this entire time. This whole time. And again, you guys know the reason I'm speaking specifically on this is because that missing feeling is the worst feeling as a family member you could possibly ever imagine. And really what I mean by that is there's nothing like that feeling where you don't know where your loved one is. And I can't imagine what it'd be like for your child, your teenage child to be missing. So we need to go ahead and put the focus onto number one, that Celeste lost her life, and there's a lot of missing pieces here. Okay. So we're going to continue to talk a little bit more about this. So they discovered the Tesla was an impound lot. Okay. It was reported on September 8th that there was an odor that was so foul. So, like, again, cars sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. They report it's so bad that they have to investigate what is that smell. Okay. And again, this is how this happens, right? This is the only reason that she was even really found just now is because of what was happening in that car from that odor. Okay. So so they found her. Okay. It's registered to him. It's David's Tesla. So there's reports that they were dating. They have matching tattoos. This was another identifier for Celeste. They found the fact that she had a red ink tattoo that said shh. Okay. SHHHH, whatever. The pain of finding out that you're missing child, because we've covered different cases. The hardest part about the reality of that situation becomes you find out the truth, and the truth is that they are not there, and that is one of those things where I empathize and understand from a deep place. My heart is broken for their family, and this is where we have to start talking about David now. Okay. So they find Celeste. She has a tattoo, a red ink tattoo. So an identifier. The medical examiner identified her, okay, on the 18th. And then they still don't know how she died. Okay. So they're trying to determine that. The vehicle connection is that multiple outlets report the car was registered to David. LAPD searched the LA home where he stayed. Police have not said if he owns the vehicle outright. While this is happening, David's on tour. Okay. He's a musician. He has a tour. It continues on. And let's also go ahead and put that out there. David is not a suspect at this point. They do not have reasonable evidence that David did anything wrong. Okay. So we need to keep that there. Keep it out there. Now, I'm also someone who has a hard time when it's something of this nature, where it's like everything's pointing towards one conclusion. I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, they've searched his LA house. This is happening in LA. So we need to understand something though. We as a society do have a tendency to just make conclusions, and it's just human nature. Again, I'm not saying David's innocent, and I'm not saying anything of that nature. We just need to understand our community is about having conversation. As of right now, they do not have refutable evidence that he did this or what is going on here. But I have the biggest issue with three different things. My biggest issues are the relationship with this young girl, the tattoo that doesn't make sense, and the fact that her family did not know where she has been this entire time, how in the world would she be there if they were dating and he did not know where she was? Right? That's just what it is. I can't get over these facts of just the simplicity. Um, this is why it's so hard to not make a conclusion right off of the bat, right? So he was about to go, he's on tour, he had a show, he ends up canceling his show, even though it was set to keep going. He was just going to continue on. Now, there's all these TikToks. This is another thing I want to talk about with media and news that we need to hit on this channel. There was, when I went to go research this on TikTok, there was like a bunch of videos that said, oh, he's pleaded guilty, and it showed up somebody standing there, and it said that he got caught today, and it's fake news. It's not true. But the problem is people are only like, so once you hit that algorithm, people are just scroll through, and how would they know, right? How would they know that that's not true? So exactly, Slow. It honestly, I was like, there's too much information here. I can't credit any of but people who are sitting here with the screen behind them talking right now, because there's so much information where people want to headline you now. So now we've gone from big media, now going into, let's just have this conversation where everybody puts their piece in there and now is able to put a spin on it. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. So this is what's been bothering me, is like, you try to get to the bottom of some of this stuff. There's a lot of people who take things for face value. They don't dig. They're not looking at what's actually going on. And people might think that David came in and pleaded guilty today when he didn't. That didn't happen. But it's like trending, and then people pick that up. This is one thing I just want to come back to real quick when it comes to our media, why we need to think critically and spend a little bit more time really looking, is don't just take everything for face value, and don't just allow snippets, right? I'm presenting you guys with what I've seen across a huge amount of different platforms. Okay. I personally have my own thoughts, and my biggest point is to highlight right now is that what hurts me the most is that this family had to find out what happened to their family member, to their child, and I can't get over the relationship between David and her. I don't understand it, and I can't understand that. So I'm having a really hard time personally with that. Is that Sherilyn? What are you doing? How are you? Guys, if you have not seen Sherilyn's channel, go check her out. She's amazing. She makes lots of really, really, really good high quality videos. I've actually enjoyed watching her videos and her perspective, and she puts it all out there for you. So go check her out. She's seriously awesome. And we met at CrimeCon, and she's like one of the nice people you ever met. So she's super, super awesome. There's a lot of speculation there, Michelle. A lot. There's a lot of speculation on what's going on in this case. Was she pregnant? How old she was? Like, do you see what I'm saying? We're at a point where there's so much information being thrown at you as a person. Let's call ourselves the general public consumer. Okay. Let's call ourselves the consumers. As the consumers, we're being fed all kinds of stuff from other sources and places all day, every day. The thing that I'm trying to get us as a society and our group, our community to do is not take our bias, not just run into a conclusion, and not take everything for face value. Okay. That's what I just really want to hit on that. We need to start being more of, as a society, critically thinking and really going through what is going on in front of us. Okay. So yeah, it's all over. And that's why we're addressing this, because when I did more research to talk to you guys about my thoughts about it, I was like, my mind is like booming right now, because there was so much information and I wasn't able to get a clear answer. Right now, this is where we're going to jump into the creepy aspect. Okay. Now, from the song that I listened to, I'm going to pull up the lyrics for you guys. Feel it. Okay. I want you guys to read this with me, because I feel like this definitely, there's a lot going on right now. Okay. And there's another song that's might one of the most incriminating things I've ever seen in my life personally, but we'll get to that. Okay. We'll get to the song that I didn't even know about. Okay. So this one for me already was a dead ringer where I was like, okay, this is creepy to me personally, because I know this song. I'm pulling it up for you right now, I promise. Okay. Feel It lyrics. Here we go. Okay. So these are his lyrics. So he says, baby girl, I know, but I can't let you go away. So don't get me started now. And then he goes, so don't leave. Take away the pain. Baby, I'm healing. Baby, I'm healing. By the way, I can sing, but I'm not going to sing out here. I'm not going to sing this. I don't need anything more but the wave. I'll be for sure crashing over me. I want you. And then, is this my song? Yeah, it's my song. Okay, don't play me right now. You told me once that I was crazy, and I said, baby girl, I know, but I can't let you go away. Okay. Now again, this could be Colby the conspirator. Okay. Conspiracy Colby coming in here, overdoing the lyrics, over analyzing. I could be doing that. Okay. But again, I truly believe that people do without wanting to kind of present their inner thoughts at some point, especially as an artist, an expressive artist. If they have these kind of thoughts, their stuff's going to run around that. Now, this is where I want you guys to understand this is where for me it was like, this is too hard to ignore. And it really, really makes me feel like I have to make sure I don't make a conclusion off of this. Okay. This one got me, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm about to pull it up. I hope you're prepared for this, because this one really got me. Gosh. No, not David. See, they're trying to change it from David, which I don't know what for D4vd means. It's called romantic homicide. Okay. I need to find the moment. Okay, here we go. It's very, very popular, obviously, right now. We're gonna pull up. Actually, you know what? Frick that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna pull up the YouTube video. Yep, it's going crazy right now. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube video so you guys can see this moment, and I'll just mute it. 884 million views. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is what we do, baby. We figured things out together. And that's what we want right there. Here it is. I'm gonna mute it. Okay. You need to be quiet. And we're gonna fast forward. So I've never personally really listened to this song. Okay. But here we go. So we've got some creepy imagery. Girl in a bloody dress. I don't know if you guys have seen this, man. Okay, so the whole song, she's bloody. Okay, now he explained this in a lyric thing where he said that this was all about how when she left, it broke his heart and it killed the person that he was with when he was with her and all this stuff. So he does have a sit down interview where he tries to lyric genius, which is what we were just reading. But at the same time, it's very just deeply disturbing. Okay, so he's all bloody and covered up with his eyes. Okay, there is a moment here. Okay, now we've got I mean, come on, bro. This is kind of wild. Like you this was a creative choice that you made. Okay. Now I'm gonna find the moment. So here we go. I'm sorry. Like the imagery is a lot. I mean, for anything. I personally don't understand what this is, and I'm not trying to be super judgmental. I genuinely just think this is weird. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm not gonna hide that. Like, why would you film this in general? I don't understand how this is a creative way of like expressing yourself. I've seen some crazy music videos where I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, you guys ever been sitting there watching a music video? It never makes any sense. And two, you ever seen a freaking cologne or it's like that? It's like a cologne commercial. Like I just saw freaking Spider-Man, Tom Holland. He's standing up against the glass and he like does a spin, and then he's like freaking on top of a building. And then at the end, after he jumps off a cliff and he's sitting with his friends, and then he's flying, and then he rubs a feather on his face, he goes, Dior. And I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? That's how I feel with some of these music videos. But this one has a very clear indication of exactly what happening. Exactly. Thank you, Amber. This is the movement where you need to understand. David was born in 2005. When I heard that, that made me feel old as hell. Okay. I was born in 96. So I was like, gosh dang, 05, I was like 9, 10. So this guy's young. He's the one that that their kids are listening to. And I have like a really deep spot in my heart for our youth, because our youth are being fed stuff like this. And I'm just being real with you. There's a lot of different ways to express yourself. This, to me personally, I just don't understand. And there's other music videos that do the same thing. It does the same exact thing where there's, I don't get it. I'm just being real. Just being real. Okay. Well, John, you are a miracle from heaven. Good to see you. 1883. You need to tell me about what it was like to watch the revolution of the new industries, man. That is crazy. All right. So we go past this part. There is a part that's just probably one of the most unbelievable parts of this whole thing. I'm sorry. Like, in a case like this, I understand he's not guilty until proven otherwise. Okay. So he's innocent until proven guilty. But I am going to say that this does not make this is bad. This is bad. Okay. Just being real with you. So we got a bunch of uncomfortable scenes. Okay. Very uncomfortable. Did they get rid of it? No shot they got rid of it. I'm going to find it. Unless they got rid of it, which could be true. Or he's outside in the beginning doing that. Okay. Maybe they got rid of it. Wow. They could edit it. I am not sure. Wow. I can't find that moment. Okay. So there's a moment where he puts a body in the car. He puts a body in the car. In the back, in the trunk. Okay. That's pretty clear. That's exactly how Celeste was found. And again, we need to reground here and say this very clearly. Celeste, yes, romantic homicide. Let me see if I can find a picture for you real quick, because I thought it was in that. And I only want to show you this just so we understand that, to me, no, I don't want to see that. It actually pulled up the news articles. I've seen it all over especially when I was doing research. It's everywhere. It's very, very, yeah, it is. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's such a big deal. Because those parents, right? We reground back to victims. Those parents were wondering where their daughter was that whole time. Then she's found in her supposed boyfriend's car. The supposed boyfriend has a music video and media where there is a bunch of unaliving moments where he unalives her on a bed with a bunch of weapons, with, I don't know how to go around these guidelines here, with red stuff all over the place. Okay. Trying to be careful here because it's obviously graphic. But in this context, the reason why I say that this doesn't feel like, yes. Now, again, I told Kelsey when she told me that that's one of the most common names, but the matching tattoos, all these other aspects are very, very incriminating. The biggest point is his car. He knew her. And if you lost someone that you didn't know, that you knew very well, how could you be dating them? How could you be dating someone and not know that they disappeared? And I mean, there's a lot of other things going on here. So yeah, she was very young. That's another really big red flag here, but we're going to continue to read a little bit more about this. Okay. So this is what the police have and haven't said so far. They have said the vehicle is registered to David and home was linked when it was searched, and identification is confirmed, and the cause of matter is still pending. What they haven't said is there's no charges, no official timeline for yet on how or when Celeste entered the vehicle. So again, I also want to say another thing. Okay. It takes a long time for medical examiners, and I just want to bring this to our attention just in general because I learned this way. It takes a long time, and sometimes it's not possible for the medical examiners to determine certain aspects of what's going on. So it's a very hard thing where you might not ever know exactly what happened. And I live in that reality, right? I don't know what happened to my sister. So I say that because it's a very real thing that's affecting a lot more of these cases because it's not really the medical examiner's fault. It's just reality of how hard it is to actually do that job, right? So they might not be able to determine. I hope they are because that gives answers, closure, and can go ahead and help with the case. Now, do we really want, let me turn these purple, man. Are you going to cooperate with the purple or are you just not listening? We'll go yellow. You guys like yellow? Again, 13 years old, has a tattoo, has been missing, now found in a car, registered through this. Okay. Now, I just want to go ahead and say this. They don't have a cause of death, which is a big deal because, again, that's a big, if they can figure that out, that's going to be one of those things that helps with their case, right? Because now we'll know what happened to her. And that gives closure to the family. As hard as it is to know how someone you loved is gone, it gives you closure. And it's the worst kind of information you'll ever hear in your life, ever. It is the worst feeling ever. And then after you get the worst feeling ever, you get to get up and work through that pain. So this is where we're left here right now. The exact link between Celeste and David is beyond vehicle registration and resident search. Potential suspect charges, no one is announced publicly. Okay. This is all over the place. Okay. All over the place. I've seen this everywhere. And we are bringing it up because this is a young girl who lost her life, who was thrown into, and regardless of the situation, okay, regardless of the situation, was thrown into a trunk of a man that she knew, okay? Exactly. That's why we're here. Once this conversation stops, and again, it's going to be hard to say this, but it's just the truth of how media and stuff moves and works. Media picks up on things that are more well known, especially like he's a rapper / singer, whatever. He's very popular. So it could have been, if he wasn't that, this could have just been brushed right over, right? Right, exactly. There's a lot of speculation. That's the problem. The reason we're bringing this up is because I want to touch on this since we talk about crime now. You need to understand there's so many, exactly, Kelsey, there's so many angles here. The police cannot tell the public as much because think about the fact that their investigation is dependent on the information that they have. That's number one. They have to make sure they don't break the integrity of the investigation. Number two, yes, the public, we want answers. We want to know what's going on. We want to see justice for her. But at the same time, you can't go to that place without the police doing their job first and then being able to determine what it is so that way things can go according to the law. And then lastly, we want to be able to make sure that this is more about the fact that she's a victim rather than, you know, this guy's a famous whatever. This guy's famous and this is what, whatever the case is. Like, I think we have a tendency as, man, these lights are crazy. We have a tendency to kind of overlook victims. Yes, it's like sad, but it's like, oh my gosh, David. Well, what is David doing? What is David like this? The reality is we don't know if what David did. We don't have that information. Back to square one, this young girl lost her life, was thrown in a trunk, was found only because she was in a public place. And it looks like she was absolutely thrown and abandoned and just treated like dirt. And this is happening. And unfortunately, all these cases we've been touching on really hit on the younger generation, right? That hits on the younger generation. And it's really becoming like, I feel like it's an attack on our younger generation. It really is. This is happening to children of parents. It's happening to younger people. There's a lot more younger victims, I swear, than ever before. And it's an attack on our younger generation. And it's sick. Yeah. That's hard. It's hard to see that. See? And there you go. Like what conclusion we draw here is this. I will say, I'm giving you an opinion, my opinion, for a minute. Let me give you my opinion for a second. When someone does something artistic, when someone is a creative and expressive artist that puts things out there, I truly believe that they express what's inside them outwardly. I believe those videos, what he says in his lyrics, the things that he's thinking and feeling are there. I genuinely believe that those thoughts are in his head. And I'm just being real with you. I think that this human psychology really touches on this point that has thoughts like that and he's expressing them through music. And that goes into a bigger topic about pop culture and other things like that. But where did those thoughts come from? Right? Like, why make that music video? Where did that song come from in your head? Why would you make that music video? Why would you go that deep in that graphic if it was not actually something that you've thought about or participated in thought? Right? It's hard for me to. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain to you, because this is what we've been talking about on this channel and hitting on hard is mental health and psychology of what's going on in all these criminal cases and how this is starting to unravel, and we're starting to see society for what it is. And nothing would be more sick than if someone was out here flaunting in their music and music videos for 186 million views that they had thoughts and tendencies of doing that. So we cannot draw a conclusion yet. We cannot say definitely we know what it is, because we do not have those answers. We bring this up today to start this conversation. We're going to keep watching and seeing what this is and praying and hoping that there is some justice for Celeste, because no way did she deserve this. She was so young, and who knows what else she had to endure before this happened to her. And we need to continue to put the light back on her and hoping that she's not just pushed off to the side and treated as if she doesn't matter, because she does. And as far as David goes, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, these are my thoughts and feelings. To incriminate someone based off of ideals, I don't think is right. So I'm not going to give you a definite answer or opinion on him. I will tell you what I've already said, which is those thoughts and feelings and those things really do point one way off of just the evidence of what were presented, lyrics. I think you go down a little bit of a rabbit hole and look at what he's saying in his music, and some of those graphic things that are shown, at least for me, reveals something on the inner. Unless it's someone else doing it, right? Unless it's someone else who's producing all of that for him and it's their thoughts, then that needs to be talked about. That person needs to be looked at. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely. And again, her parents are in the middle of this huge public storm that has all of our eyes on it, because it's everywhere, because this guy is very well known as a musician right now. He was on tour. Like, this is a very public thing. And so her parents, I'm sorry, excuse me, her parents are navigating this situation with all the same questions you and I have, but about their own child. So just remember, that's what we're trying to do here with when we talk about crime, when we talk about these cases, is rehumanize every single one of the victims and their families, and remembering them for who they were, and hopefully we become a platform in the future to give people for her parents a place to come and talk about what they need to without any big media, without any strings, just for them to say their piece on a platform like this where they know they're safe and that the community is behind them. You guys are a community. Here we are talking about it. Here we are knowing we want to see justice for her. So I really, really do hope and pray that they are able to determine what happened to her, bring peace to this family the best that you can, and being able to really know what happened will bring closure. Exactly. Exactly. Those are lyrics from David. You see what I'm saying? It is very easy to draw a conclusion here. Very easy. It is heartbreaking, Jen. And guys, he's not classified as a rapper. I would classify him as a pop artist, or I would definitely classify him as a singer, not a rapper. He's not a rapper. He's not like Eminem, or he's not spitting bars. He's singing most of the time. And his career started from his TikTok career. But again, diving into the psychology of human beings, to me, the second I saw the song called Romantic Homicide, and then you watch the video, you guys can go watch this video. Watching that video is deeply disturbing in general. I've always have felt so uncomfortable in music videos that are like that. It just doesn't make any logical sense to me. Like, what the hell? Why? Again, we're gonna, you know what? I'm gonna bring it up. Just frick this. We're gonna talk about it. Yeah. I really hope that we remember her as a person, and we'll get to know her a little bit more as we go through this. I did like one of his songs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a song of his on my phone on my Spotify, because you know when you like hear something and like immediately associate it. So when Kelsey told me that they found this and all this broke a couple days ago, I was in shock because I'm like, oh my gosh, I know who that is. Like I know that artist. Um, so I listened to his one song called Feel It. And obviously that's something that you need to understand. When we go to this place, imagine finding out what has happened with this artist that is all over the place, and all of a sudden you find out that kind of information. Then you start to dig deeper into what they were talking about in their music. So that's just what it is. His music was everywhere. His music was viral, and he has tons of music out there that were TikTok viral. It was like everywhere. And so he was a big up and coming artist. I mean, he's on tour. So obviously this caught a lot of traction really fast. And so that's why it's such a big deal. But again, at the core of all of it, it really comes down to the fact that Celeste lost her life, and we just don't know what's going on here. And the situation, back to big media, please just start really doing more research on this. There's lots and lots and lots of really deep back and forth on this. Okay. Now I want to touch on something else real quick. Okay. They search warrant his house in Hollywood Hills that David had been staying at. Okay. And that they seized his computer and several other items. Okay. So they're trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay. Now they found her in the front trunk, which is the front. And I just want to say that is even smaller than the back. So again, that's even more of a discarding of someone. Okay. They threw her in the front, which is a smaller version of the trunk, right? In a Tesla. She was inside a bag and she had been wrapped in plastic. They said her clothing and appearance of appearance details given. She was about 5'1", black wavy hair, wearing a tube top, black leggings, and a yellow metal bracelet, metal earring studs, and a tattoo on the right index finger that says "shh." Okay, so let's stop there too with just the tattoo alone. First of all, if she was 13 years old, I don't know how 13, you have to have parents' permission to get a tattoo, or just do it as a rebel, or somebody personally has to give you a tattoo. You can't go into a tattoo shop at 13 and get a tattoo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you have to be 18 to get a tattoo. So that's number one. Two, what does that mean? Because even if you go like this and there's a right here or this, whatever, which way, I don't know. But that's one of the main indicators that they found her because she had a distinctive red ink tattoo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just being honest with you. Like, what does that mean? Right. And this is where we become kind of like conspiracy theorists in a sense, but we have to look at some of these facts and break them down a little bit more. Yeah, I was pretty sure you have to be at least, I would say, I don't even know. I don't know anything about the age of consent for tattoos. I'm just saying. What's crazy to me is that one of our kids or family members' art, we would be deeply disturbed, but Hollywood can make videos like this, and the world is like amazing art. I agree with you. I'm again just saying art is usually an expression of your unique twist to something. I understand. So he explained the song, and this is where this whole rabbit hole starts. His whole thing, yes, exactly. Remember, we're just having a conversation. We're just opening up a door. If David is innocent and someone else did this and put them in his car that they knew was impounded, we would feel horrible for trying to point a finger at somebody that is literally innocent that lost someone. I don't know. I'm just saying we're not making accusations and everything. We're just talking. Okay. We're just talking. We're having a conversation. So stick with me here. But again, art is subjective to the person who usually is expressing their art. And whether someone wrote the song and made the music video, it's coming from that point of what is going on inside that person's head, correct? Like, what story are you telling? Because that's what art really is when it comes to music, or at least in my opinion, music is an expression and a lot of times an expression of your inner thoughts and feelings. And so, yeah, you can see what they think and feel because they're expressing it in that way. And I think more than ever, music has actually jumped around. Like people who have really blown up in the newer age, the musicians have actually been like the newer artists and rappers are like talking about mental health. They're like on a new wave of really talking about their feelings and what they've, things that they're going through. So it's not just like all about music, about money, and especially in the rap game, like money. And I'm not going to say all the other stuff, but you already know what it is. So that's my point. I think that for me to creatively express yourself, I personally could never see a reason, even if my theme was about having to unalive a part of you or a relationship. It would never, for me, I never expressed it in a way of like physical that. There'd never be a music video made like that. I don't know. None of that makes any sense. So that's where I'm having the hardest time with my personal belief system here. And my personal opinion is swaying just because I just try to look and dig deeper than average. So, I mean, again, they can't do anything until they can do something about it. They're leading the investigation of the LAPD. There's no suspect who has been publicly named. And the cause of death and manner of how she died has not also been publicly done. Okay. We don't know the exact time that she was placed in the car, how long it was. David's relationship with Celeste, whether they knew each other or had any personal relationship, or how strong or close, is not confirmed by authorities as well. So there's a lot of speculation here. And then ownership and operation of the Tesla. The Tesla is registered to him, but multiple people apparently use the vehicles at different times. Ownership does not necessarily mean he was the person who parked it and used it at the relevant times. And then lastly, if disclosure evidence, what evidence law enforcement has gathered and what exactly they have found in the searches is not known publicly. So that doesn't mean that they're not working on it. But let's also just say, if we were to play on the other side, he's a rapper, he's a musician who could buy a car for anybody, give someone a car, and then they could end up doing that thing and then ditching it. And how would he know if he's on tour becoming a musician? So we have to be fair on both sides. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just saying let's play both sides as of right now. If he were to give someone a car in his name, because he obviously had to go buy it and then registered in his name and gave it out, and someone else did this, then obviously everything would point towards him. Is he still on tour? That's a good question. I think From the last report that I saw, he was on tour, but he canceled his show. He canceled his show the night or the day of the show. So I agree with you. If you, I'm trying to be as let's put this out on the table. It's put it out on the table and discuss it. I have my own personal opinion about it. I've told you that. So Keely's saying it's been canceled. All shows are on pause. I've heard the same thing. The tour's been canceled. So yeah, which I'm sure if anything we're smart, the problem is we have to say, okay, he's under investigation right now. He needs to put all of his focus in there, especially if he were innocent. He would need to put all of his focus on helping them, giving them information, and then being mentally and physically wrecked over the situation for what has been happened, and help the police. That would be what you would probably do if it had nothing to do with you. So he says, just so y'all know, want to go deep on this, we can go deep. There are 2 Celestes. Look it up. There's an adult one that he pretended to be dating in front of everyone. And I've seen that. There's a song, if you guys don't know, where there's a video of him singing to a Celeste. Okay. So again, back to information, back to deep dive. You guys want to dive deep, you can start to see. We can go all day on this stuff because there's so much information. There's an idea she was pregnant. There's an idea that they were dating years before this happened, which would have made her even younger. I mean, there's so much reporting out there, right? But what is actually going on? What is actually happening in this situation? And that's what matters the most. Again, recenter back to Celeste. She's the one that's gone. Her family's the one that has to deal with it. Then he says they met on Fortnite. I have not heard how they met, to be honest with you. Either way, my problem comes to this is how old was David? And even if he's 05, then he was already way older than her regardless. That's already boom, done. Red flags everywhere. Red flags everywhere. Hell no. You cannot have any kind of relationship with a young woman. That's a red flag. And we need to start, you know what? I'm going to do it. I don't care. I don't care about trying to be correct in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going to be honest with you. The societal ideas of young people being formed and shaped, and anybody coming to teenage, because teenagers are looking at celebrities. Yeah, that's a problem. 11 and 17 are yes, I understand. I'm sorry. I'll say a child then. Okay. Just so you guys understand. I understand the gravity of this. 11 to 17 is not even acceptable. Okay. Let's put that out there. Society, I don't care what you say. An 11-year-old and a 17-year-old have nothing in common because the gap of maturity that a 17-year-old has to 11-year-old, they can't even really be close friends. And it shouldn't even be acceptable to have in a relationship in any kind of way with someone who is that much younger than you. I just don't care. I'm just done. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks about that. That's a problem. And I would as a parent, and this is not me, listen to me. This is not me judging their parents. I don't know the situation at all. So this is not Colby saying I'm blaming the parents for this. But I'll tell you this. If I knew my daughter was 11 and she was talking to a 17-year-old, I would tell him and her, you two cannot have a relationship, period. I don't care. You're not having a conversation. You're not texting. It doesn't matter. You are not having a relationship with a 17-year-old boy. It is not happening. You're 11 years old and he's about to be an adult. There's no shot you're having that. So that's just where I come from, is there be zero contact for those two. Zero. But understand that I'm not here to cast that judgment onto her parents. We don't know what the situation is. I don't know how this happened. My heart is broken for them, regardless of the situation of what happened in between all of this. My heart is shattered for them and for Celeste and everybody else who loved Celeste lost her, and they found her in exactly that way where we're learning these criminals, these people are like, we're like that video right there. Okay, I gotta spit my gum out. Okay. That video right there tells you how desensitized we're becoming. That video right there, to not have a problem with watching that is crazy to me, because now movies and all this stuff are so extreme and so violent that we're numb. Okay, we're numb to like the reality of what the hell's going on. And I think that that numbness is infiltrating the younger generation. It is. It's becoming a bigger and bigger problem. And the fact that that is normal, to see that kind of music video and have that even be produced, I've been like, hey, bro, this is weird. You need to, this has nothing to do with this song. This is extreme. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's all about sensationalism and getting the most over the top thing to happen. Maybe that's what all that Hollywood stuff is all about. Maybe we've got to that point here. I don't know. Absolutely. She deserves it. Her family deserves it. Yeah, shock value, John. Exactly. I think you're doing a great job at looking at both sides. You have kids. You also have kids. And I feel like a situation like this, along with your own, make you and Co want to protect and guide them even more. Exactly. Guys, our channel, I feel the direction of our channel is to have more discussions about our society, with why crime is happening, why people are unaliving themselves, why this is happening. Like, why aren't we addressing these issues every day? More people need us to talk about this stuff. And I say that because why are we having a young girl thrown into a freaking front of a car and discarded, and not even, no one ever knew where she was. Only the person who put her there knows. Never happened anything. And the only reason she was found is because they smelled it in a public area. Right? I think all the time, my family could have never been found. That could have been my reality for the rest of life. There could have been a reality where my brother and sister were never ever found because of whatever reason. So that could have that happens a lot more than you guys probably know. I'm sure if you are into understanding crime and are into this culture, you would see there's a lot of people who go missing who never show up again. So imagine the pain of losing your child in a feeling where your brain can't comprehend what happened. Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? And you're thinking that all day. There's never a break. You dream about it. You think about it. That's all I thought about when my siblings were missing. All day, every day. I dreamed about them every night. There's never a break. And then this is how you find it. Inhumanely treated. Like it doesn't matter. Which just puts it back, a big point back on our society, is how are we getting to this point where people are this numb? Yeah. But if we're able to do media and think about, you are what you eat, is a very clear way that I like to explain it to people, right? If you eat something, it becomes part of your cells. It breaks down into your cells. That's why it says you are what you eat. It is the same exact thing for how we consume media. And the conversations that I see aren't being had. It's just information. Here's what they found. And again, we need to know what's going on, right? Current events are very important. But then we need to have the larger discussions around why, what is happening here? How do we make differences? How do we change this? Well, we can't stop people from doing what they're going to do, but at least we can start tackling some of the mental aspects of this. Maybe we can start talking about what is actually happening in these situations, right? Because a lot of things could be solved if we were to have more discussions rather than just all of this information, sensationalism, and just throw it out there and there you go. I just want to have more of a conversation about it. And you guys are giving us a great community to do so. We need this in this world. So I just want to say again, I hope that Celeste's parents are okay. I know they're not. I hope that they feel that there's people who are backing them that understand, regardless of the situation, they understand from an outside perspective that they've lost their child. I hope that Celeste gets the justice that she deserves. I hope that she also is able to, I hope they're able to figure everything out and that they're able to put a close to this for everyone who loves her. And I hope that we as a society continue to have conversations like this that allows us to discuss these points where we have to look at both sides. Okay. We have to, guys. Yeah, I have my opinion. My opinion was formulated pretty quickly. And I want you to understand. Thank you, Miss Woozy. Like, let's talk. It's easy to make judgment. It's easy to cast. It's easy to make a snap thing based off of some information, but you got to dig deeper. I'd also say again, I'm just gonna be real with you, and this is my personal opinion. TikTok information is like a freaking limitless pill coated in crack shoved up your nose. I don't know, man. It's almost too much information. It's almost too much information. So just be careful with where you're getting your information from and really do research on it. Exactly. And I hope they know they have people who understand that they're grieving a loss. That's what matters the most. And then justice comes second to that. The loss is why the justice needs to be served. But they're going through it right now. And it's public and it's all over the internet and everyone's talking about it and everything is happening publicly for them. And that's a very, very, very hard place to be. And they don't have answers. So there's no closure yet. So that's what it is. I know. She loves TikTok. Well, there's nothing wrong with TikTok. So I'm not making an attack here. I'm just saying we're now at a point where society is, everyone wants to talk about something and that's fine. But there's so much information, your brain can't even process what's happening. And if you get too much TikTok information where just everybody who is your average Joe who watched it for 2 seconds and didn't deep dive will say stuff that they heard from someone else who did the same thing. And it becomes almost there's no credibility. You're not able to know what's actually happening in the world, or you're not really knowing what's going on with the story. And then people make up a bunch of stuff. And that happened. I'm going to just give you guys an insight. This is exactly what happened in my family's case. Is there was so much misinformation because of how information is spread and how people talk, and then they post something and they say something and nothing of what they're saying is even true or accurate, but they hear it from someone or whatever the case happens. And have you guys ever played the game Telephone? You ever played that game where you like sit in a circle and everybody whispers something in the ear and the last person says what the first person said? That is the media. I hope you understand. That is the media. That is how it works. Too many people say the thing and they go, they say mushroom pizza. And by the end, the guy is like says a freaking Monoloo Babaloo. Okay. They lose it in translation because too many people got their hands on it. So by the time it gets to you, it's tainted. Okay. That's how it works. You're getting information, boom, 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 boom. And that's the problem is a lot of people take that for face value because you're supposed to say that that person did their research and knows what they're talking about, is a credible source, and should be able to tell you what's going on because they already did the research. Problem is at this point in life with all the outlets, all the TikToks, all that stuff, do your own research, really look for it, really look through everything you can before you put your hands on something or make a decision on something. I hope we start doing that. So yes, I've seen it all. I've seen the disgusting side of media. That's why we exist. We really, this channel is our ability to say what we think and feel without the media spin on it. And again, media has the good and the bad side. You can't just partner all media as bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying independent media is a really big point, but also be careful with your rabbit hole diving, because I'm seeing all this stuff that I didn't, all these other reports don't say. And then someone's like they want the new scoop to get you to watch them. So the new scoop for that person is by the end, they're saying, Woombies, Wooma Doomady. For real. But some people they know that they have to have something new to present to you, and they're going to say something that's not even true just to get the click. That's the even worse part about it. It's like there's no integrity left. It's just like, I need you to watch my video. So I'm going to tell you, oh, well, she was possibly pregnant, or she was this old, or she was this, or we found out something that no one knows, or we have this exclusive thing. And the truth is, it's hard to know if that's actually the case. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I just want us to be there as a society, continue having conversations. I'll play devil's advocate and have it on the TikTok thing. I have a family member who is TikTok famous in another country, and all they do is spread love and light. So I'm conflicted. No, I agree with you, Miss Woozy. There's nothing wrong with TikTok. See, let me say it this way. There's nothing wrong with media. There's nothing wrong with TikTok. There's nothing wrong with Instagram and all of these other outlets that we talk about here. We're talking about, when it comes, I swear it's more about cases than anything that gets this. Now, magazines do this. You name it. There's a lot of outlets. It's whenever information is out there. What happens in media, just to give you guys a kind of a overall look, just from the inside of understanding media now. What happens is everybody wants to talk about one thing, right? The problem is, what differentiates you having that conversation versus this outlet versus this outlet? There's 1,000 all on the same level that all report, that all talk about things. What happens is they all need to compete with one another. So therefore, they need to do and have a spin on what you see. They need to have a spin on how to get you to click theirs rather, or at least watch theirs or be interested in them, and do all that. So they all bring in something flavorful. I hate to use that word, but it's the best way I could explain it. They spice it up and they twist it and they do their own thing just so you can have some kind of new information or something that you didn't know, some way to get your interest. That's what it's all about. It's about your eyes and your time going to them. Long story short, that's what gets them going. But the longer conversations, the societal conversations, the bigger pictures are lost because we're listening to so much information at one time, seeing so many different things, and then it just gets convoluted. I don't know. I don't know how to supposed to explain it. Just in my personal research, trying to listen to other people's points, I got lost in the sauce because I'm like, damn, like, you're saying that she had this happen, and then a whole other thing says that this happened, and it's like too many conflicting things, and it's really all about the clicks, and it's really sad. So I really hope we go back to having conversations. I'm not trying to say TikTok's evil. I'm not trying to say media is evil. Obviously, though, you guys know there's good and bad of everything, and that's just life. That's good and bad of how you use it is what matters, right? And that's another thing, right? Now we have new media. Now you have people who are doing the podcast and all this stuff, and I think that's great. I think that is I'm part of that movement. I'm part of that. Do it yourself, be a human being, and not have to worry about media really censoring you or stopping you or putting their spin on what you do. The other thing is remember that with this whole thing with TikTok, what I saw is too many people are in here saying too many different things that contradict each other. That's all I'll say. That's all I will say. That's all I will tell you. Exactly. It's all about integrity of the people who are making the content. And you'll see their integrity pretty quickly, how they present themselves, what they're trying to tell you, what the conversation's really about. Are they just trying to give you information, which nothing wrong with that, but are they sensationalizing that information to get you to click? Or are they trying to honestly make a difference? What is their point and what is their goal? That is the point. You will see that very quickly. And it's not to even condemn someone who is doing it for clicks. It's just, if they do it for clicks, they can be influenced to continue to always do it for clicks, which means if it's all about clicks, they have no real, and I'm not going to say this about everybody, but if you see that it's about integrity, and if their integrity is all about clicks, well, then you have to constantly bend yourself to make sure that you get the click. You see what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard to see that that's where we're at in life, but that's where we are. Remember when Wikipedia came out? Anyone else put themselves on Wikipedia? My brother-in-law put himself on a wiki to appear relevant. That's what I'm saying. Like Wikipedia is, I can go on Wikipedia and edit it. It's not something you can go and trust as a source. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother conversation for another day. There's a historical conversation of how we receive information and what we know and who told us that. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. I wanted to bring this case to you guys just from this perspective, have our community have this conversation. I know our show has been amazing. I love our show, but this one for me, I wanted to bring to our community for a bigger conversation and have us understand that we are in a time where it's crucial to have a base of belief. It's crucial to get to know what you're looking at. It's crucial to do research, and it's crucial to critically think about what you're hearing and the information you're being presented. And I really hope we continue to think independently and be very careful that we're not just allowing someone to think for us, because we are surrendering a lot of our thoughts to everyone else, right? AI can do it for you. The news can do it for you. They can tell you what you need to know. That's what I think is people pride themselves on that. This isn't to try to hate on that stuff. There's always good and bad of everything. But really just continue to have an independent mind. Continue to think, continue to grow, continue to be a better person, and find out your convictions as a human being and stick to your convictions and really be willing to open your heart up to things you might not understand and learn, rather than be so stuck in the mud on certain topics, and really open ourselves up to a conversation where we could get better. And maybe somebody can explain something to us that we may not have understood before. And now we've opened our mind to it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this by saying this one thing. I do not want to cause a riot here on either side. We know Celeste is gone. We're praying that she has victims, or the victims have justice. Sorry, the victims have justice, which is her, and then also her family. They are victims, even though they're not the direct victim. We pray for their justice, and then we also pray that there are answers for them so they can actually be able to somehow cope with what's going on in the world. And then outside of that, whatever happens with David, we'll keep you up to date. We don't know. We are learning, growing, and we will see what happens with him. We don't have a absolute answer, even though we might have our opinions. So we'll continue to watch this as it unfolds. And yes, justice for Celeste. She deserves it. And I hope that her family knows that there are a lot of us out here who are behind her family and want to see the same thing for her. I absolutely love you guys. I will see you very soon. I have one more thing to tell you. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. I have information on this and I need to give it to you. Give me 1 second, guys. I have something important to share with you and I need to pull it up here. So this is an interesting day. It's going to be happening this weekend. I'm going to be doing what is called Dateline Live. I'm going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, and it is on this Sunday coming up. I am flying out there Saturday night, and I'm going to be doing a conversation basically with Keith Morrison, and we're going to have a really, really, really good conversation, and I'm very excited about it. Dateline Live sent me, I asked for something to actually share with you guys. So what I'm going to do is send it to myself real quick. So give me 1 second so I can show you on the screen what this is. And I got to plug in my phone because it did not charge. Give me one second. You guys are amazing. Just please be patient with me. Okay. I just sent it. I got to plug in my phone, man. And I'm also working on our vlog for the reaction to Unknown Number. And I'm re-shocked watching and editing because this Unknown Number on Netflix, if you guys have not watched it, you need to check it out. It is something that we are going to discuss at length because after the reaction, we need to have a bigger conversation about that. So let me pull this up real quick for you guys. I need to pull this up because it's very important. This is the actual information. They're doing a press release. I know that. But you guys can see it right here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being patient. Here we go. Dateline Live is an event right here. So I'm going to be here on Saturday. Now, this is something that, like I told you guys, the bigger conversation with Dateline is they want to have a really grounded conversation, and that's what matters to me. So I'm just going to read you guys this real quick, and it says Dateline is hitting the road for the first of its kind event, and you're invited. On September 28th, join us in Nashville, Tennessee for Dateline Live, an exclusive event featuring the Dateline team, everybody on the Dateline team. Okay. This has basically, this is what it is. So it's Nashville. So me and Keith are going to be sitting down and having a conversation. They have all the people from Dateline there. There's going to be live conversation, and it's going to be in person where people can get tickets. So I'm just excited to be in a position where I can have conversations with people about what has happened from a grounded standpoint, just like we do on this channel. And it was really nice to know that Dateline's taking the same kind of approach to crime and victims and things of that nature. So I'm not going to spoil anything. I have to be very careful because I'll just tell you everything. But obviously I don't know exactly what our conversation is going to be like. I just know our framework of the idea. Everything is going to be natural and there. So that's what it will be. But I hope you guys are able to see it. I don't have too much more information. I will update you as the week goes on. So we will not have, we will have a Friday live, but we're also going to have a live probably on Saturday as well. And then I will probably not be going live on Monday next week because I'll just be getting home that day. But then I'll tell you guys what the schedule is. That's why it's really important for you guys, if you are subscribed to the channel, to look out for the community tab. I post all of our information on there. So that way you guys are up to date. I want to thank our mods. You guys are amazing. You help us every single time we go live. I love all of our community. Thank you to all of our members. You guys are helping us and supporting our channel. We love it. All of our people in our community have been amazing. Thank you, honestly, for participating in a conversation and being open-minded, and us starting a movement where these kind of conversations can happen online. And that way we know that people can open their minds up to things maybe that they're closed off to, and we can start having conversations. Those are very important in our world. I absolutely love you guys. I will see you very soon, and have a great rest of your day.